Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Turned Out a Punk Classics, a show where we take old episodes of Turned Out a Punk that have been lost from the internet and return them to their previous glory by sticking them back on the feed. You can find this podcast on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all other forms of social media. Well, that's pretty much it. At Turned Out a Punk. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Left for Damian. I play in a band. More information can be found at fuckedup.cc. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another TOAP Classic.
Favorite record?
Because that's one of the reasons why I'm here with you guys.
That's one of
My
that is
sister,
one of my all-time
my sister
favorite.
played that every day. I wanted to fucking punch her face in. Now, of course, and I'm not going to argue with you. I do realize the importance of that record and the greatness of that record, but it took me. I didn't want to listen to Neil Young. I wanted to listen to Uriah Heep. No. I wanted to listen to Black Sabbath. I wanted to listen to Ted Nugent. You motherfuckers, if you don't like this, you can turn around and get the fuck out.
Anybody wants to get mellow, you can turn around and get the fuck out of here. All right now. Good. You remember?
The trouble is, homie, joined Damn Yankee.
Yeah, joined like hunter people, camouflage gun bearer, camouflage gun bearing people.
Straight up bad music. It's like the rock and roll time travel erases his accomplishments from the world of positivity because of rock and roll time travel.
You know, I almost bought that Amboy Dukes album today. We were shopping over here at the record store, Damian and I picked out that Amboy Dukes album with Journey to the Center of Your Mind, which is an amazing song.
What was the album after Free For All? Was it Cat Scratch Fever?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I'm cool up through and including Double Live Gonzo, and then after that, I'm so done with that new shit.
And then,
of course I did. And then when he did all his weird Republican shit, then I was like extra special done.
You know, he's always been like that. He just
yeah, but he didn't have to rub it in our face.
He just kept it on the down low.
He knew how to market himself back then.
You didn't have to rub it in our fucking face.
Right.
So, I guess this is going to be the coolest episode of Turned Out a Punk ever, because this is just going to be...
None of this is...
This is really great so far.
This is awesome. This is amazing. What are you talking about? This is incredible. This is like every dream.
We're all like super smart and stuff and really insightful, yeah.
Hey, look, I ran into the oldest Stern brother at the Starbucks in the Golden Nugget when we were at Las Vegas Punk Rock Bowling this last time, and he asked me how I was doing, and I looked at him and I was like really run down. I hadn't got my coffee yet, and he was all jazzed. He was psyched because he'd got his coffee. And I said, dude, I'm feeling like I'm 61 years old. And we started to converse a little bit more.
I don't know.
And
Are
then
you 61?
I will be in a couple of months.
Oh, fuck. Why did I think... Dez is 57.
Why did you think... What, did you think I was 41 or 31?
59. I don't know. Well, hold on. You used to be
69.
You used to be 7 years older than me. So
I think he's still 7 years old.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when we were kids...
Yeah, we were kids.
He's older than you.
When we were kids,
So like 10 years older than you.
I feel like I was
Over
8
time,
and
the
you
spread
were
is
like
growing.
about to... You were in the middle of high school when I was 8.
Okay.
So you're 8 years older than me. Okay, I'm going to be 53 in a while, and you're going to be...
61.
Perfect. Okay, I like it. Next question.
It adds up. Well,
But I didn't get to finish. But I'm having this conversation with the oldest of the Stern brothers, and he looked at me and he said, Keith, what else would you be doing?
Well, you had a good paralegal career on the way. You were going to be an attorney, right?
No, you're thinking of Lucky.
I'm not thinking of Lucky.
Your counterpart in the circle jerk.
He's no paralegal either. That guy's the actual real deal lawyer.
No, he's not.
Hey, he was.
No, he's not.
How could you be 50 and not pass the bar?
Lucky Lehrer?
How
No,
could
no,
you be
no, no,
50 and not pass the bar?
Because the California State Bar exam is one of the toughest.
Limbo
But
lower
there's
now.
plenty fucking attorneys out there, and they're not 50.
So, the way I do this podcast normally is I find out how people got into punk, and we just kind of go from there.
But we're not doing it like that.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Not at all. But I do want to talk.
We got to figure out how we're getting out of punk.
I do want to talk to Keith though about seeing the Stooges at the Whiskey, and was that like a pivotal
No,
moment?
you need to have Billy in on this conversation because he's going to tell you that Metallic KO is the greatest live album ever recorded.
Really?
Oh yeah,
More than Kick Out the Jams?
but even more than Intensities in 2 cities or 10 cities or.
Or fucking what's the Mahavishnu
Frampton
one?
Comes Alive.
Frampton Comes Alive, yeah.
Like
Not
Birds
you.
of Fire. More than that?
Birds of Fire,
Isn't that
Mahavishnu
live?
Orchestra.
Isn't that live?
No effects, Birds of Fire, Keith.
Crass Birds of Fire.
So, Bill, do you think Metal KO is the best live record of all time?
Oh, I do. I fucking do. How did you know that?
He just said.
I just said it because he was
No,
asking me.
no, but it fucking
inside
is.
info.
What's better than that? That's the best thing in the whole world.
How many times did we listen to that in a row over and over and over again?
Why do you think
We
when it
put the
was
speakers out the window or put them on the roof, to just fuck with the neighbors.
Why do you think when Greg Ginn said we're going to cover Femme Fatale by the Velvet Underground, I said, I'm not singing that song. I'm singing Louie Louie.
Wait, so it could have been Femme Fatale?
It would have never been Femme Fatale. I was not going to sing that song. I'm not Greg Ginn's puppet.
I think that would have.
Chuck, are you Greg
No.
Ginn's puppet?
I most definitely am not. Or was I ever?
That would change the history of music, though. I think if Femme Fatale had been the set closer tonight.
No, it's a decent song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. It's not partying.
It's not
at
Louie
all.
Louie.
It's not partying at all.
No.
It's
No.
like an anti-party song. It's
Yeah.
like, like I'm fucked up and bummed because, girls, my thing with the girls isn't working right.
That's one.
Yeah.
So,
That's what that one's all about.
do you remember the first time you met all these guys?
Well, I met Billy at my dad's store. Billy would come in. I've known Billy since he was 8 years old. Just like earlier when we were talking over breakfast, I've known Stephen McDonald since he was 11 years old. The McDonald brothers came into the Black Flag rehearsal space, and we told them, you can't continue to call your band the Tourists because that's too wimpy. There's nothing punk rock about that. And
The Tourist was a good name.
Well, that's the Eurythmics, pre-Eurythmics band.
then-
Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart's band.
then Chuck and Greg suggested that the McDonald brothers play our equipment to prove their punk rockedness or their manliness or
They could jam.
how large their testicles were. And Steven, they're now like tall enough to be professional basketball
I
players.
think that means that you have really big dicks if you're tall.
They go together.
No, it's
How do you know?
it's your shoe size. That's how they measure a man's
More yogurt.
package by his
What do you
shoe
think about
size.
yogurt?
I like the Greek kind. I like Greek yogurt.
Well, what about the other kind of yogurt?
I'm not a big fan.
But what the Greek, they have economic problems. You think you can get those economic problems? Like, is it
Are connected to the yogurt?
Are economic problems contagious from the yogurt?
I think it's the Saganaki, that flaming cheese.
Flaming
Takes
cheese.
a lot of resources to light that cheese on fire every
Is that
time.
what it is?
That's what I
Like
think.
Burning cheese.
Burning cheese. I grew up in the Greek neighborhood in Toronto, so I have a lot of experience with Greek food.
With burning cheese.
Burning cheese, definitely. So what about? So Bill would come in your dad's store, and
And at a certain point, Billy, like I would be listening to the radio, And I would always, because my dad would listen to jazz, and whenever my dad wasn't around, KNAC, yeah, KNAC,
Is that what was
Loud
first?
rock.
Was it KNAC the first one?
Blue Oyster Cult, ZZ Top, David Bowie,
And Peter Frampton.
and Uriah Heep, Deep Purple, all of that kind of stuff. Stuff that would bum our parents out. And Billy would hear something and go, Keith, who's that? And I would say, Billy, that's an album that you need to go out and purchase for yourself.
Do you remember those records? Do you remember those moments?
The question is, did you take the advice, Bill?
Did
Yeah.
you take the advice?
Oh, totally. There were like pivotal moments that changed, who I am as a person, that were basically albums that Keith told me I should go buy. Yeah, absolutely.
What about, so like all that stuff kind of, there's like a lot of glammier stuff there. What about Zolar X? Did you ever go and see Zolar X?
Oh, golly. Holy cats, did I see Zolar X. What do you want to know about him?
Were you into him?
You need to introduce yourself, Des.
I'm Dez.
Hi, Des.
Good job, Des.
You did a great job tonight. You killed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Zolar X, yeah. Oh, God, what was that? What was that record? What was that? Help me, Keith.
Did they have a record?
They had a 12-inch.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it was
it was
posthumous,
like-
though, right?
No.
Energize
no,
Me? Is that on it?
What
Yeah.
planet were they from?
Zolar.
X.
I think they just they were from Planet Zolar Z, but they heard about X, so they called themselves Zolar. I mean, whatever. That's bad.
It was good bad, though.
They got back together and they played.
It was kind of like, okay, this is fucked up, but like, I'm kind of liking this just because of that reason. It's like B movies. It was like B movies.
Do you remember the first time you met Dez?
Well, we were all party meisters. We were all looking for the keg and the 12-pack, and there's actually a great photo of Dez, Brian Grillo, Carrie Ella Black, I want to say Mary Rat, and myself just like hanging out on a couch. And it looked like it could have been in that front room at the church.
Pool table room?
In the pool table room. Before the pool table.
Right.
Or after the pool table.
I think it's probably before.
Hey, remember the night that we were all like hanging out?
What room? Wait, what?
And
Which room?
The southeast room.
Southeast room.
It would have been facing the Altadena Dairy.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
Right there when you
Yeah.
go in the front door. You would.
Like where Greg ended up living there after. Yeah.
He lived across the way.
No, that was after. I mean before that.
I mean, he got sick.
Don't tell the guys.
And had food poisoning in there. I didn't really live in there.
I remember it was either Janet Housden or Michelle Galassi or Mars. Remember Mars and Randy?
And they were like my best friends
Yeah.
at Maricosta when I was a freshman.
Yeah. Mars and Randy or
Mars went out with Dave Nolte.
Dave Nolte. But he went out, but Mars went out with Joe Nolte first. And then Joe Nolte dumped her, and then Dave Nolte started going out with
From the
her.
last?
Yeah. What other Joe Nolte?
No way, I
I didn't know. That's why I wasn't
Oh, I
putting
think
it.
there's an actor actually, but anyway,
Nolte's brother.
so it was either Janet or Michelle or Mars, and they were like, "This is Ron and Dez." It wasn't Dez, and it wasn't Ron. It was Ron and Dez. Like Ron and Dez were together. It was always like Ron and Dez.
Yeah, 'cause they
Like
were
in like Lenny and Squiggy, but not Lenny and Squiggy. But it was always like for me, Ron and Dez. It was like
you mean like Abbott and Costello?
no, I don't mean like that. I mean Ron and Dez. Yeah.
What about Martin and Lewis?
No, Ron and Dez is way cooler than Martin and Lewis. Come on, Ron and Dez.
What about Ren and Stimpy?
Right.
All
There
right.
you go.
All right. Beavis and Butthead.
Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, actually, we're kind of like that because one guy, it's
Jerry and OB.
That's above everybody that's listening to.
Yeah, I was like, you guys lost me on that one.
No, Jerry is my dad,
If he does the OB thing.
and OB. Hey, Billy, you know OB's history? He was Black Ops.
Yeah.
He was Black Ops. He was one of the first guys sent into Vietnam to scope it out and say, this is what we need to do. This is where we need to go. These are the people we need to fuck with.
When OB came back, though, he thought he was God. He told me that he was God.
Well, also,
Maybe he knew something you didn't know.
there were 5 of them that were sent in. 5 of these Black Ops. These are the first guys to go. The first guys to go into Vietnam that represented the United States.
Represented God.
Yeah, and the final order, their final order was that none of them were supposed to come back from Vietnam. They were all supposed to kill each other.
Wow.
So in the beginning,
And he came back, and he was completely out of his mind. He lived downtown L.A., and he would wrap every night before he went to bed. He would wrap himself from head to toe in foil because he thought that there were like Secret Service agents on all of the rooftops around the hotel where he lived, shooting him with these cancerous rays. So the guy was out of his mind, and he could be a real sweetheart and then just snap in a second.
How'd you guys know this
The
guy?
thing about being out of your mind. And
that's a good question. Jerry let him stay there. What was the arrangement?
No,
He would God and they had to obey.
No, he would ride the bus from downtown L.A., fish on the pier, and then he would sit in the store all day. He was out of his mind. He was living
Wait, but I
downtown.
remember somebody up in the rafters.
Oh, that was Raymond. Ray.
Not Ray, not like the pier Ray.
Yeah.
The pier Ray
Chuck.
lived in the upstairs.
Yeah.
You mean the
I
church
thought
he
it was
lived in?
OB up there
No.
Yeah. That's like,
No, OB was never up there.
because he was too big to get up there. Probably.
It was
right?
Ray.
Like the,
That
You know,
was
without
Ray.
the guy with missing all of his teeth.
Yeah.
The guy that would eat steak like
some other
he
one.
would just
Open Cars to Mars is a good
he'd
one, though.
gum that
Gum
steak.
that steak down. Yeah.
That was his album.
That was his album.
What you're doing is you're getting a history of my dad's store.
No,
Well-
you're getting the prehistory of pre-South Bay, pre-punk, pre-that. Like
So were there bands? Like, were you guys into local bands? Were there any local bands?
All
the last.
The last, yeah.
Yeah, all of the local bands, besides the last, were all cover bands. They were all top 40 bands. And the reason why we gravitated towards the Alley Cats, who were in Lomita, who we also kind of consider to be a local band.
Oh yeah.
And the last was because they were the only bands with any creativity. Like, they were the bands that stood up and said, this is what we do. And if you don't like it, that's the way that it is, so be it.
Was Rhino 39 from Long Beach?
Yes.
I somehow always harbored a kinship with them because I don't know. I just felt like they were one of us
Their
somehow.
drummer almost became our drummer.
Wouldn't Long Beach be...
Yeah.
wasn't good enough.
Couldn't we consider...
It wasn't good enough. He wasn't.
I liked
way
him.
enough.
Yeah, I liked his playing. And we
Everybody's
rehearsed with
doing
it.
the perlicks and stuff. Boom, bum, bam, da-dum, da-dum, dam, dam, doom, dum,
No
dum,
compromise, no compromise.
No compromise, no compromise. No compromise, no compromise. Yeah, yeah.
What about the quick, though?
Rhino 39. And the...
Facial Screw came up to me, Xerox personality, wondered what you want to be. What is that?
The reason we had a kinship with Rhino 39 was because we could consider Long Beach to be the most southern tip of the South Bay.
Before you go
Or
to
the
like
northern tip of
Orange
Orange
County.
County.
Yeah, Orange County.
You know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Apples or
Orange County
oranges.
goes all the way to Marina Del Rey, but that's a Venice outlook.
Orange County goes all the way to Marina Del Rey.
So was there like a divide though between like like Rhino 39 is definitely also more of an aggressive band. Like did you
Wait, get more? Whoa.
not Northern Black Flag, I mean, but I mean
Because they had clean guitars.
Yeah.
They sounded like a
But it's
cross
fast.
between like the Minutemen and the Descendants.
it's not like the Quick though, or not the Nerves or like those.
Okay, that's different. Oh, the Quick. I bought my first drum set. It said the Quick on the bass drum, so I guess it was the Quick's.
You bought it
Yeah.
from Danny Benaire?
I don't know who I bought it from. I bought it, the Recycler. Remember the Recycler?
Danny Benaire
What?
told one of the greatest stories I'd ever heard about how his older brother, who was like 18 years old, dragged him to see the Rolling Stones at Altamont.
Whoa.
He was 5 years old. His brother said, I can't find a babysitter. You're just coming along with me. Get in the car. And they drove up to Altamont and somehow managed to get past all the people. The two of them walked in the back gate. Just walked in, and there they are on the side of the stage when the Rolling Stones are playing.
What year?
That's like 1969.
69, yeah.
That was the end of this. That's
1969 okay, all across the USA.
that signaled the end of the Summer of Love. The Rolling Stones said, "Sympathy for the devil. Fuck your peace and love."
Well, I guess,
Really?
and Manson too, right? That was the same
Remember the
same moment. So, were you into the Nerves and the Quick and stuff? Was that like part of it or no?
Seems way cooler.
Did-
We
did you feel
listened to all of that stuff. Rodney played it on his show.
Yeah.
And we listened to Rodney religiously.
I would hold my, the court stenographers have those rectangular little tape decks, and they have like 5 big buttons on them that look like piano keys, like junior piano keys. And I would hold my cassette tape up to the speaker, the whole Rodney show, and tape the whole Rodney show, and then that was like my soundtrack until the next week, until Rodney went again. And we would bring them. Everybody did it, so Mars and Michelle and Janet and Frank and Dave. Everybody had their one of those tape decks, and we'd bring it and we'd go sit out by the bleachers in this little part where there weren't any football players. And then we'd listen to the Rodney, all the stuff he played, He always played that Flyboys thing. Yeah.
And the Runaways.
Oh, yeah.
He loved the Runaways.
And the Beach Boys. That's when he did his Phil Spector Beach Boys tributes. But Rodney played all that stuff before even the station that he worked for played it. They just kind of worked it into their rotation because they realized that Rodney would get a lot of tune-ins. So many people were going, wow, what's this fucking
Even though it was late, because I was in high school, I had to get up, but I would stay up, to listen to it, yeah.
Like, didn't he come on at 10
No, midnight.
on Sunday?
No,
No. He went from 10 to he had 4 hours or 3 hours.
It seemed long to me. I mean, I had to
At
stay
first,
up.
right?
I had to drink coffee, stay up for it.
It's well fucked.
But I guess as a fisherman,
Sunset Strip.
yeah.
Hey everyone, now that the holidays are over, Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery has got your resolutions covered. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning, so you get to skip the grocery stores, the prep work, and the cooking fatigue because they have 35 chef-crafted options each week. So whether you want to try going veggie or vegan like myself, Whether you're like one of my kids trying to eat anything and everything that you can find, whether you're trying to go keto or calorie-wise, they've got you. And there's 55 add-ons that you can also put on there, so you'll have tons of nutritious and flavorful options. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Factor's meals are ready in 2 minutes, and there's snack options as well, and juices and smoothies and all sorts of things. It's been amazing having Factor in the house because whether it's meals for myself or, as I said, meals for my kids, I don't have to do overpriced takeout anymore. There's delicious food that's available right down there in our refrigerator. And it was all delivered right to my door. And it was great for me having some of these vegan meals in the house because there was no stress for me. There was no cooking, no cleanup after I'd made food for the kids. I could just pop down, grab one of these, and it was ready in 2 minutes. Or if the kids were hungry, I'd send them down and they could get one of the meat options. And once again, it's ready in 2 minutes. And you don't have to just take my word for it. You can head over to factormeals.com/TOAP50 and use the code TOAP50 to get 50% off your Factor meals. That code again is TOAP50 at factormeals.com/TOAP50 to get that 50% off and see for yourself. Delicious, nutritious, and I get the kids on the podcast, but they don't feel like coming on to do the ads. I got to pay them, and oh my God, that gets messy.
Well, he also, didn't he write lyrics for, what was that band that he did, a split 7-inch on Bomp with the Venus and the Razor Blades, and it's Rodney and the Brunettes, I think?
Venus and the Razor Blades, that's not the little girl from the Stingers. No.
That was,
I don't know.
That was like,
I don't
Unit
get out
3 with
much.
Venus. That was Unit 3 with
Yeah.
Venus.
That was her parents.
I like
Unit
boys.
3.
Yeah.
I like boys. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That was the little girl that played with her parents.
Yeah, her name was Venus, and she was, yeah,
They
had
were
a band when she was like 9.
they were exploiting their child. How dare them?
I did that.
I don't think they were. They had just a punk rock household. I mean, that was just, if you went to those parties they had, it was just that's just how they were. She was just, yeah, the Stingers.
I always wanted to hear that band.
You never heard the Stingers?
No.
We had their practice room after Cabrillo, maybe. When Cabrillo got
CD6 almost played a gig
blown
with
out
them.
by the Pigs, then I think we started practicing at the Stingers' place.
they have records?
Because that was like a family band. That was cool.
I
like that they were-
I can't see why you are so blind. That was a great hook, right? I can't see why you
They
are
were
so
sort
blind.
of popular. People went to their shows and stuff, but they had a house down there on 7th Street or someplace,
Yeah,
and people they were a big party scene.
yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Well, we're
never heard
talking about rock bands here, or it doesn't matter, American bands.
Normally, the way the show works is I start always the exact same way, which is ask the person how they got into punk and just go. But I thought, we'll just have fun.
Well,
Talking about music.
This show's different, though.
This show's very different. Today's very different.
I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hands up who likes the band The Saints.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm stranded.
On my own.
Know your product.
Yep, lipstick on your collar. They do the Connie Francis.
So now, why did you bring up the Saints?
Because they're one of my favorite bands, and I don't know if we're sticking to America or...
No, anywhere.
Australia.
But when did you guys hear the Saints? Because they kind of obviously they predate the Sex Pistols with that release.
I heard him when Dave Nolte he would make me a cassette. He's like, here's all the stuff that you have to listen to because you're listening to Kiss and you're listening to Aerosmith. Here's the stuff you have to listen to. And so Dave Nolte made me a cassette, and it had the Saints, and it had Slaughter and the Dogs, and it had Blue Cheer, and it had all this stuff on it. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was kind of was that
turned me on to what was Elvis Costello. Everything is less than zero. Dun, 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 dun. I like that song. It was good.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I think Elvis Costello should do it with the Cookie Monster vocal, burp vocal now.
That was Burp. That wasn't a Cookie.
It worked for both,
The
though.
thing is, the Cookie Monster is the vocalist in every death metal band.
He is a very
He's
well seasoned.
That wasn't me.
No. But
You could get down there.
Yeah, but I think that would really fuck me up in the head. But,
How come the Welsh don't get their own liquor? There's Irish whiskey, there's Scotch whiskey, then the English have gin. So what about the Welsh?
The
What
English
fuck?
don't have gin.
Sure they do.
No, they don't.
That's their shit.
Gin came from the juniper plant, which is Geneva, and that was invented in Belgium.
Yeah, the British make gin. Come on, like Tanqueray
Well,
and
fucking my third cousin makes gin, but that's not what you said.
it's It's a British drink. Come on.
I'm sure there's a Welsh one.
Is it?
Welsh whiskey or something.
well,
That's what I'm wondering about.
We're all experts here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what the juniper thing was. Who
Gives a shit about that?
perfected
That
the
grows everywhere. That
booze
grows in Southern
was
California.
actually, I think, the British. But we should research, Google it.
I
Yeah.
don't have Wi-Fi.
But who here has had juniper? Geneva.
But it's kind of like the hamburger, right? Like it was invented in Germany, but it's perfected in America.
In Germany was friga down. And in the United States, they took the breading and shit out and made it a hamburger.
It made it awesome. Perfected it.
Is this
They're both
going to be
good.
like the real Black Flag book? You know, not the Henry
Probably,
books.
but he doesn't have rights.
This is just it just goes up as a conversation.
Well, you can call it whatever you want. Call it a conversation, but like it's kind of a history. I mean, you're getting Keith's perspective, and then I'm younger than them, meaning Keith and Chuck here, and Greg, and Robo, especially Robo.
But not Isaac.
You know, but not Isaac. I mean, Isaac's in the room.
Isaac's the kid.
But
I'm even
it's-
older.
It's like you're getting a little bit of what's not written in books.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that I think everyone that listens to the show, and that's the stuff I care about. You know, like I want to hear about the stuff that you can't find out about as
You know,
easily
and
now.
I don't know if I would like to see a book, but I know it right here. See, I lived it. And it was me and Ron, like Bill said. You know, that we showed up. We heard this band Panic was practicing at a church. But they're maybe going to change it. Ron told me this. Maybe going to change their name to Black Flag. And then we had seen Robo up on
No, I'm getting them cold.
Aviation
I'm not cold.
with his Cortina putting something. He goes, that's the drummer. And that's when you guys used to play up on Aviation.
What do you mean?
Cocaine into his trunk.
Perhaps. But you weren't supposed to say that. But what
That's okay. You know, he's not here to defend himself. We can say whatever we want.
And he lives, yeah, I know, but he lives in Columbia anyway, so go ahead.
And don't blame the beer.
Yeah, but at the time he was living in El Segundo. And you know how he got into the country.
Because he was a student.
Yeah, he was a
Exchange student.
exchange student. He was supposed to be going to UCLA.
Was he really? Not like Harvard College or something?
El Camino. El Segundo Junior High.
We went to the University of Punk Rock instead. So
He graduated from that one.
yeah, graduated.
Degree.
Well, if I can't even do his voice, I'm trying to do Marky Ramone.
You know who can
Well,
do the voices?
don't make fun of Robo because he's a good guy. And, you know, do I have to kick the little guy's ass?
It's in my bag.
This is a
Well,
real...
you know, his finest moments playing drums as a member of Dust, Marky Ramone. Marky Bell, who was also a member of the Voidoids. Yeah, but some of the people that are listening to this might not know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've talked about Dust on the show before.
Yeah, we're trying to enlighten a few people.
Well, I guess also I wanted to find out did you guys see the Screamers? Were you into the Screamers? Was that?
I saw the Screamers on several occasions. And Tomato was actually my neighbor when I lived over by the Hollywood Bowl. And we became really good friends. Really a sweetheart, one of the coolest guys that you would ever meet. And those guys, there would be no 9 Inch Nails. There would be no... You should ask these two guys what they think of the Screamers. Billy and...
Were you guys...
Steakums.
Were you guys into the Screamers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's always like a distinction that's made in like the history books now about when the beach scene came and ruined, quote unquote ruined, not me saying this, the LA punk scene. And was that real or is that like a myth? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, but like that's what it's.
That was a different county, and it was a different. It's like what Keith says every night about white minority. It was done as a joke, and then certain people took it seriously, and it's like those certain people, not everybody, but a lot of people from Orange County did. And the valley, where neighborhoods where their parents were conservative and they just wanted to rebel in any way, and some of them really wanted to fuck shit up. And I mean, because I have a story about my first gig. And we had like a mailing list of about 500 people. About 300 of them were from Orange County. So we planned this thing at the church. First of all, I had been in the band like 4 days. You know, I came up to the church every day. I actually think I lived there for 1 day before we went on tour. But I see Chuck. And Chuck, what was that car that you used to have when you asked me when to be in the band?
Oh, the 62 Impala.
62 Impala.
That was a
and
nice car.
It's like noon. And he opens up the trunk and it's like 2 cases of Bergie. Warm.
Brew 102, man.
Or Brew 102, or one of those.
Cheaper
Cheap
than Bergie.
California beers. And he goes, here, you want a beer? Hey, Dez, come over here. You want a beer? And I go, yes. Oh, yeah, Chuck, sure. Oh, and then he opens up the trunk, and I go, it's in your trunk. I'm thinking this. I don't know if I said it out loud. He gives me a beer. I go, yeah, well, people in Europe drink their beer warm, so we're going to have a beer with Chuck, you know?
Wait, are we talking about the Cortina yet?
No, this is after. This is on me joining the band.
With the fringe around the edge.
I feel like from the Impala leads to the Cortina.
Did you never know? Remember, like I had fringe all around the cabin area?
Yeah, it's like a Cholo Mobile, but Chuck style.
Right, like
so
tackier.
He goes, hey, Dez, come over here. And I go, hey, what's going on, Chuck? And he goes, well, I want to talk to you about something. Here, you want a beer? And he opens up the trunk and gives me a beer. And we're sitting there talking. And he goes, how would you like to try to sing for the group? And I use a 50s term. I don't know why. But I go, what do you mean? sing. I play guitar, you know. And he goes, well, yeah, but we know you. You're our friend, and you're a cool guy, and you know, whatever. And
Probably sounds like what I would say.
Yeah, and I go, what? How do you know I could do it? He goes, because at every gig, when Keith was the singer, and I didn't go to too many Ron gigs, it was just a weird scene between me and him. It was like, I didn't really care. I think Ron felt I didn't support him. But I missed him.
Yeah. So that was your black flag.
Yeah. And I wasn't jealous about the fact that he was in Black Flag. That wasn't my goal. I was surprised when Chuck asked me, you know. But anyway, I go in there, and he goes, well, you know all the words. You sing all the words to win. Even with you.
No, you knew the lyrics better than I did.
That's all you gotta say. He's right.
Played live.
He's right. That's all you gotta say.
No, he probably sat out in the hall with Ron and drank beer while we were rehearsing.
For sure he did. But at the shows, there he was singing the songs in front of us. I knew you knew the words.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, and it was everybody in the band. I don't care what the attitudes were, or how not drunk or how drunk somebody else was. That was my picture. So
we were like the Dodgers. We had a really great farm system.
Well, that's true. That's true, because David Bowie went to one of your gigs.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he saw it. Keith.
That was the Hong Kong Cafe where there was, this was the gig where everybody in Hollywood said they were there because David Bowie was there.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't believe he was really there. Was he really
He
there?
sat at the, he was sitting at the very end of the, you know how they had the tables running by the stage? And he was sitting at the very end of one of the tables with two big black soul brothers who you weren't even going to walk up to and say, hey man, how's it going?
With bodyguards, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and the rumor that I heard why he was there was apparently he had the night off and just wanted to go to Chinatown and hang out in Chinatown. Right. And he apparently heard that there were a handful of bands playing at the Hong Kong Cafe. It doesn't get any more Chinatown than the Hong Kong Cafe.
Yeah.
Except for Madame Wong's.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Which was right across the like
100 feet away.
100 feet away.
But then there was like kind of like not beef between the two venues, but there was like a bit of a rivalry, right? Like you couldn't play one or the other at the point.
One was new wave.
Yeah.
And a little bit of punk rock, but the other one was like the Germs played, X played,
Black Flag played.
The Control, you know. I don't know if Black Randy played there. He probably
might not. You never know.
He might have.
I feel like I would have gone if he went, if he played.
Yeah, that's true. Because he was out of his mind. You had to go see him play. He was out of his friggin' mind.
Well, I guess also, what about Vox Pop? Was you ever into?
Well,
Cab Driver.
Great song.
Killer song.
Paul Cutler is an amazing guitar player, and it is amazing guitar player. And if he hears this, I'm saying he is. So,
he is an amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
Was that like
the jams with him? It was really fun.
But that was 45. Wasn't that 45 Grays?
Silver
Child. That was Vox Pop.
Yeah,
Vox Pop.
Same people.
No, it's Don.
It was like switched around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they all play different instruments and shit.
Yeah.
But
it was Don Bowles and him and who played guitar and that shit.
Oh, Jeff Dahl?
Maybe.
Was it Jeff Dahl that played on Cab Driver, Keith?
I don't know. I'm not
What?
that familiar with Vox Pop.
I watched them record it.
Really?
The bass played through a giant, like, actual theater speaker system. He had, like, it was like a speaker and a big horn that was about 6 feet long and about 5 feet wide, square.
Wow.
And it's like just one speaker.
It was Vox Pop was kind of like everybody in 45 Grave, switching instruments except for Mary, and being also, besides Cab Driver, which is kind of a rockin' cab driver, everything else is kind of like really spaced out Velvet Underground.
It's just like your mom.
Well, just like your mom is.
That's kind of aggressive.
Well, that was the B-side.
Yeah, that's a flip.
Yeah.
But Jeff Dahl was also in Power Trip, right? That was his band?
Yes.
Jeff Dahl's Power Trip?
Oh, Jesus.
One of the first bands on Mystic Records.
He was also a member of the Angry Samoans.
Yeah. Also, Angry Samoans have a connection to Blue Oyster Cult, right?
They at least liked Blue Oyster Cult.
No, didn't Richard, what's his name from Vom?
Richard Meltzer was in Vom.
Yeah, and he wrote lyrics for
He wrote
Blue Oyster.
lyrics for Blue Oyster Cult.
That's right. Did you ever see Vom?
I'm in love with your mom.
Yeah. Electrocute My Cock?
Yeah, I might have seen Vom.
I saw them at the Whiskey A Go-Go and they were terrible. They were a joke band.
Yeah.
I suppose they lived up to their name, huh? That's in short for vomit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Was there a place called... No, the Wild Goose was a strip
They
club.
thought that they were going to be the West Coast version of the Dictators.
What was that club by the airport?
The Jet Strip?
No.
The...
Eagle? No.
Is it the place, the one where like Van Halen played and shit?
Yeah. At Wolfgang.
It's still there too. It's the what is it called?
Not the Wild Goose. That's a strip
No, that's a
club.
strip club. This place was a hall.
Yeah, it was... It
They
was
did-
kind of like big,
They
like
did kegger
Alpine,
parties there.
like Alpine Village.
Around my back.
Kegger parties. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I think that's good for tonight. I think that was awesome. I think we're never going to find out where Vox Pop and Vom may or may not have played.
Or whether there really is Welsh whiskey.
Or whether it's Welsh whiskey. Those will have to be answered in part 2. But this has been awesome. Thank you guys for letting me do this. Really appreciate it.
Senor.